Welcome everyone to our birthday party, our 7th birthday party. And so, yeah, it's our birthday, and you should definitely have a birthday song. So, happy birthday to you. So I'm so glad that you guys have joined us this evening. We are going to have an opportunity for questions and answers at the end of this. We'll have the team available to answer your questions. So please stick around. It will be awesome. So I want to give you a little bit about our history, our programs and services. We have an interview with Ryan Vandrey, who is our principal investigator on our large study that we're doing with Johns Hopkins. We were able to publish this year, just a couple months ago, so we want to tell you about that. We want to let you know how you can get involved with Realm of Caring, and we really need you guys more than ever right now. So I want to tell you all about that. And then, lastly, we'll just open it up for questions, and we'll just have a forum where you guys can ask questions, and we'll do our best to get those answered. So thanks for joining us. The Realm of Caring, let's talk about our history. It's kind of nostalgic that I'm sitting at our kitchen table at my house, my living room behind me, and this was our original office. We used to gather around the kitchen table. We started with serving primarily families with very severe epilepsy diagnoses who were having to move to Colorado to get cannabis. And at that time, it was medical marijuana. That was the only available option for families. And they had to establish residency and move to Colorado. And the media began to call this group of people medical refugees, because after you got to Colorado, you were landlocked here. Your zip code dictated whether you could help your loved one. And after you were here, you could not leave with, with your medicine. So we have come leaps and bounds and miles from where that was. And that was back in 2012. And it started with little Charlotte Biggie, who in February of 2012 started using Charlotte's Web. It wasn't called Charlotte's Web then. She started using CBD, and her seizures all but remitted. She was 99.9% seizure free. And we lost Charlotte this year in April. And so everything that we have always done and will continue to do will be in her spirit. And she is with us and with our mission. And that now more than ever is a really important time for an organization like ours, so that families have freedom to choose options, different solutions for their health. They should have that freedom. We should all have that freedom. And Realm of Caring was started by Paige and I, and so just a couple of moms who were trying to save their kids. Similar to Charlotte, Zakai, my son had transitioned to hospice and just wasn't doing very well. And we turned to this option because our hospice counselor told us about Charlotte and Paige and gave me a couple of phone numbers. And that was all she wrote after that. So we felt an extreme obligation to tell the community about this option. So we found the nearest mountaintop and started screaming as loud as we could. And there's been a lot of wonderful earned media over the years with CNN, Sanjay Gupta, the weed specials. I don't even know what weed number we're on now. Like weed number 78. Paige and I joke like we got our little walkers. Well, you know, back in the day, the medical refugees. It started a movement. You know, these kids started a movement, and this industry, this beautiful industry, I believe stands on the family's shoulders. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to have been a part of that history. And Realm of Caring is so excited to serve and continue to serve the families. So we got started in 2012. In 2013, we started the nonprofit. We became Realm of Caring officially, and we continued to help families who were relocating to Colorado and other states that had medical cannabis programs. And we also did a lot of work legislatively to help rules and regulations change to support families who use cannabis care. And that was a long couple of years where I do not know how Paige did it. She traveled a lot, and if there was a call for help, she showed up. I think I helped with the first 6 states or so, and then stayed back home and started to work on our programs and services, and really developing those. So a lot of credit goes to for all of that work, and the families who were not willing to settle for less than quality of life for their loved one. So thank you to everyone who's joining us, who's an OG, who was with us back in the day in 2012 and 2013 and 14. I see you. It's been a long road. I'm so happy for where we are now, where families can go to a website and get it shipped to their front door. That's just incredible. And thank you to everyone who helped support those efforts to make that happen. So yes, you used to have to relocate. You definitely don't have to do that anymore. You can get CBD products, hemp-based CBD products right on your doorstep. And a lot of people do that. And Realm of Caring continues to support the medical cannabis industry as well as hemp-based CBD products, because we believe in that. We believe in quality of life, that people should have an opportunity to improve their quality of life. At Realm of Caring, our mission empowers you to take control of your health and enhance your quality of life by providing cannabinoid research initiatives in addition to educational programs and services while we build a global community. We're leaps and bounds from where we were when families had to relocate. And so we have been responsive to our community and organic in the programs and services that we provide for the community. And when I talk about community, I really am talking about 3 distinct groups. I'm talking about consumers of cannabis, hemp and cannabis. We're talking about medical professionals who have patients who are using cannabis and hemp products. And then we're talking about the cannabis industry, the cannabis and hemp industry. And that's really the groups of people that we serve here at Realm of Caring. And for consumers, our programs are really unique, and they still continue to be what they've always been. We operate a free call center so that people can give us a call and speak with a care specialist who they've been on the phone millions of minutes. So this team is absolutely incredible, and they know what they're talking about. They're not medical professionals, and that's by design. We have so much data that we've collected over the years. They've been on the phones for so long that is the way that we're able to guide families. So we do not give medical advice, but we do guide families. We're able to help them with, how do you have this conversation with your doctor? You really should be talking with your doctor about this in therapy. How do you have that conversation? How do you find a quality product? How much should you take? For how long? Are there any interactions? There's a lot of questions that families have when they are trying to figure this out. And you do not have to start at square one. You don't have to do that. Paige and I had to do that back in the day. There was no resources, and we just had to figure it out. So the care team is available to you to answer those questions, to point the way, to be a compass, to show you which direction it is that you need to go. We've done all of that work. We've done it for many, many years. We've had the call center always. There used to be volunteers who would, pick up the phone. I love the example of, around the caring, this is Rita. How can I help you? And she's at home changing Tyler's diaper. So we've always felt like that was just really important to be here for you. And we still know that that's important. We are here for you guys. You can call anytime. And if we can't answer the phone when you call, we'll be sure to get back to you. We have a great ticketing system that allows us to not make sure that people do not slip through the cracks. So for consumers, we have the call center. You can always reach out. You can email us and get the help that you need. That's also for medical professionals. We get a lot of calls from doctors who are trying to understand mechanism of action with cannabinoids, potential interactions. They might have a patient who they're asking, need more questions answered. Absolutely, medical professionals can reach out. And in fact, medical professionals are one of our top referral sources to the call center. So often doctors are getting their patients just in touch with Realm of Caring. So again, that resource is available. And then, another huge program that we have is research. And we spend a lot of time conducting research so that we have these really large bodies of data that we're able to pull results from. And so our largest study is with Johns Hopkins University. And this is our longitudinal registry that we've done for many years, 44 years now. We have published this year, and we'll hear from Dr. Vandrey soon about the results of that. And we've done other studies as well. So we've done metabolite studies. We've done a study with Colorado State University, with epilepsy, with Palo Alto, VA clinic, University of Pennsylvania. We've done studies with sports and former professional sports. So really, wherever we have a question that we need an answer to, we're open to doing more research and also collaborating with more companies on getting research accomplished for them as well. I think it's really great to work with a nonprofit who really knows the space really well and who also understands the consumer base, knows how to write a very good protocol, and how to get enrollment to the study. So research is really huge. Doing research. We actually, I took a look. We have 105,000 registrants that have come to Realm of Caring. Large group of people that we're able to recruit for different research protocols. So research is a really big deal for us, and we're absolutely going strong in that area. And lastly, just building our global community. This is really important to the Realm of Caring, for you to understand that you're not alone, and that there is someone here, and that we're here together, and that we bear witness to each other. And I just think that actually is what this is all about. It happens to be revolving around this plant, this cannabis plant, but really Realm of Caring is about community and creating community, and we really want to continue that effort. I know COVID has made it hard, and as we've grown, sometimes that also makes it harder to get together regularly. And so I hope you're taking advantage of a lot of the our ways to get together right now, which are virtual. And I think we're definitely in a different time right now, but that our mission absolutely hasn't changed, and we want to make sure that we are connecting with you all. So I'd like you to hear from a few of the families that are our Realm of Caring family. over the years. So as I mentioned, community is so important to us. And now, why don't you listen to some of the families that we serve?
My name is Mary Friedenberg. I'm 57 years old. I'm a mother of two grown men, 35 and 37. I have three beautiful grandsons, and I take cannabis. I've been diagnosed with Durkin's disease, started having chest pains, went to the emergency room, couldn't figure out what was wrong, and pain, just severe pain that nothing could kill. It causes lipomas. When you go online, it talks about painful fat, but it doesn't talk about the effects that it has, which affects your lymphatic system. It affects your vascular system. It grows. They grow in your arteries. I have one on my liver. I have one next to an artery here. So I came to watch the Kai, and I didn't know him. And I'm watching all these children run around, and they're having a good time. And I said, I can do this. And I took the leap of faith, and I did. And I thank God every day for Roma Caring. I thank God every day for Heather Barn Jackson. Thank God every day for Paige. This is the thing with this disease. You're in so much pain all the time that you really want to take a shot of morphine and lay down and die. I mean, that's how bad this is. And then to have this opportunity to take something so remarkable that does so much, and it's not just me, I'm not the only patient, Durkin's patient, who's on cannabis medication. I don't think there's really any shades of gray. It was pretty much black and white. You hear somebody has a disease, and you go, oh, what's that? And you look up on the computer and stuff, but you don't really know the experience of what the person's going through. The Roma Caring has my heart. And now I'm going to cry. Sorry. They gave my life back.
My name is Noah Clark. My brother is Jason Burks. And we've been battle buddies since 2002.
My TBI was what they consider a mild TBI. This happened OIF1. It would be beginning March or so, 2003 to 2004, full year deployment. We spent the majority of the time in Al-Anbar province, Mahdi, Fallujah, or Al-Fallujah. Very, very, it was known as the worst city in the world at the time, and it was very dangerous. We got a call to investigate possible chemical emissions at the MEK compound, which is in Fallujah. Turned out to be a dud, wasn't real, and it was a setup. And an RPG came, the guy popped up around the corner, an RPG was fired, and I don't remember hearing the explosion. All I remember is a flash of heat, and next thing I remember is looking over to my right, and my executive office was burned from his 9mm. And I rolled over, so the burn shot to the general direction. The next thing I remember is being in the Humvee and hitting back. That whole incident, I know things have changed. And you'll never understand, no matter what. You're going to the point, you're not going to come back the same. And if you get a blast, you're not going to be the same. You're going to forget things. You're not going to recall things the same way you did. And it's frustrating.
Nobody teaches us how to recover. So you get thought to kill, but now recover. And now he's lovable. Like his kids can come to him and hug him, kiss him. His wife can love him.
So today is Sunday. I think it's the 22nd of October. 22nd of a huge difference. It's easier for me to maintain the conversation. It's easier for me to think of things, even to process information in my head. It's easier for me to make friends. It's easier for me to be. It makes me more in control. It makes me. It helps with my my brushing stuff.
Your sensory problems.
My sensory problems.
You can tell that it makes it better.
Yeah. It's just a lot easier to learn. It makes me happy. And I think it's a lot easier for me.
Really?
I think that's the big thing.
Do you remember after taking this for 3 weeks what you said to me? Do you remember or no? You can be like, no, I don't.
No, I don't remember.
You came up to me in the kitchen and you said, Mom. I said, what do you think? I said, David, what do you think about the CBD? And you said, Mom, I think I like myself.
Yeah.
I think I finally like myself. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Today was our first year down here in Colorado being able to be a part of the Christmas event for the RoC Caring. And we got to meet a lot of amazing people and family. We got to meet a lot of good families.
I'm already emotional just thinking of, moving here to Colorado when we didn't know what would happen. We didn't know. Paula moved how many days? We were like really close together, a couple days apart.
Really?
Yeah, back in 2013, and it was this unknown. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? Is this going to work? Is this going to be anything? And then meeting the people was definitely something that changed our lives. Having this availability to come to events and to have this, we call family, because we're friends and family. So we call each other family because we just get it. We can talk about seizures with each other more than we can talk with our own family because we don't get sick of hearing it because we deal with it all the time.
When Derek and Maddie and I came out here, we left everybody. We left family, California, to go from over in Virginia. We had nobody. And now we have, I walked in here today and my family.
When we came in 2013, I had spent every year prior to that with my family for Christmas, and that was the first year that Jordan and I were out here by ourselves and thinking, we have nobody, that would be your typical thought is we have nobody to, to celebrate with. And we had this huge RoC Caring family. We weren't alone. This is the first year I'm going to go home in 6 years for Christmas, and my heart is sad because I love everybody out here so much. And I'm excited to go home, but I'm going to miss a lot of people out here for Christmas too.
I do want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all the people that donate, all the people that make this possible so that we can come out here. And even though it's bittersweet that we have to move and do things for our children, that it should, it should not be a Schedule I drug. I'm very thankful for everyone who's given their time and energy and all of the RoC Caring staff for giving us this opportunity, not just today in this event, but every event that they throw for us, to have this family and be able to hang out together and remember we're not alone. Great, so I'd love to introduce Ryan Vandrey, who is our principal investigator on the largest study that we conduct, that we've been doing for many, many years. Ryan is a beautiful friend and a wonderful colleague, and we've been working on this registry for, what would you say, Ryan?
4 years.
4 years. We published this year, so I wanted Ryan to join us. He's from Baltimore, he's in Baltimore, and I wanted to, just talk a little briefly about this because we're going to do a longer interview with you soon. Joel will be doing that really soon, but for today, I wanted to, first of all, just introduce yourself, your credentials for the people, and then we'll dive into what we learned.
Sure. So I'm a professor at Johns Hopkins University. I've been studying cannabis for 20 years now. Kind of a random story on how I got into all of this, but I like random and I like following paths and recognizing where there's areas of promise. One of my favorite kind of parts of that story is when I met you, Heather. So it was a very, unintentional introduction, but it's been a great thing, and I'm really happy to be part of Realm of Caring. This project in particular is really nice because it has allowed us a way of getting patient level information on the impact of medicinal cannabis use. And that's something that I feel has really been lacking in a lot of what people talk about in this area. It's greater, bigger, epidemiological, public health type things, but too little attention has been paid to individual health. And so I think this project is a really neat way of us going in and asking individuals to tell their story. You're using medical cannabis, why are you using it? And allowing us to follow their path and to see how it affects them personally. And we've got this really unique circumstance through Realm of Caring where we're able to capture some people before they begin that journey and then follow them afterwards. So it's a really unique data set.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's a great quote by Brene Brown that says, "Stories are just data with a soul."
I love that.
I love that quote because that was really what I wanted to do with collecting story after. We were, on the phone, hearing all of these wonderful things, my own experiences with my son. We were doing the best that we could as researchers and non-medical people to figure out what's going on. We knew there was something really interesting happening. And so originally we had hired, we used Excel spreadsheets and we hired a databasing company. And then when you look at cannabis research, you will see Ryan's name come up a lot. You start to see really well-published people in this space over and over and over again. And so talking to Ryan, sharing our story, and how can we collect this in as validated a way as we can, we launched this registry. And so we have a control group of people who are not using cannabis or cannabinoid products. And then we also have people who weren't using anything and began using something and maybe fell off and came back on. So that's the really cool thing about the longitudinal piece. And then we are using validated measures. So tell me why we would want to, or why we did use validated measures, as opposed to, there's a lot of apps and things out there with the sad face and a happy face and, thumbs up, I slept well. Why did we need to do a little bit better job there?
Yeah, so that's the difference between almost like, I don't want to put this in the wrong frame, but it's, there's information and then there's data. And to get good data, you have to ask the questions the right way. And there's a whole science and art of developing the proper way to ask people a question. Even as simple as, how's your level of anxiety today? If you ask that, a number of people can interpret it very differently based on really subtle differences in the wording, how you ask it. Are you talking about today, yesterday, right now, or 2 hours ago? And so there's a real art to developing validated measures of things like anxiety and depression and quality of life. And people who have dedicated their lives to doing that develop these instruments that take into consideration all of the different possible interpretations of the question, making sure that it's written in a way that most people understand it, and that if you ask the same person the same question multiple times, they're going to think about it the same way, and you're going to be able to compare the data from one time point to another. And so it becomes really important that we use those types of questions rather than us thinking we know how to do this the right way and making up a question. If we
Yeah.
take up a question and it hasn't gone through the psychometrics and being validated, then the value of that information at the end of the day is questionable and suspect.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are limitations to this type of study, and we fully recognize those, and when we have spoken at different conferences and presented this data, and even through our peer-reviewed publication process, there are some limitations to this type of research, but I also feel like we just aren't getting this information anywhere else. And so it was important to me for our call center to be able to educate both medical professionals, consumers, and the industry in a way that is data-centric, that is data-backed. Our folks that are on the phone have been on the phone millions of minutes, and that's priceless. But then also to add this data where we can talk to families from a point of, this is what we saw in our registry, is really important. And so you mentioned a couple of measures like anxiety and depression. What were some of our measurements that we took through the registry?
Yeah, so when we first discussed this and we set out to collect this data, we had to sit down and think, all right, well, what are we trying to do? And medical cannabis is this interesting thing because it's not one medication for one health condition. It's cannabis, which could now be hundreds of different products. There's incredible diversity, both what's in it, how to take it, how it's formulated, and all of those things can impact the efficacy of the medication, what it does. And then on top of that, people are using it for dozens, if not hundreds of different reasons now. Everything from a variety of very serious health problems to general health and wellness. And so we have to figure out how to collect data that would be informative within this really kind of diverse and broad area. And so we intentionally took a really broad and general approach. We said, look, we are not trying to do a clinical trial of any one product for any one health condition here. We want to try to gather as much data as possible because, like you said, you're trying to inform your call center folks, right? And people are calling the realm for dozens of health conditions, and they're using a whole variety of different products. And so we wanted to gather as much information as we could there. And so rather than trying to separately do this for all of those things, we said, all right, let's just get everything we can, and let's look at general outcomes that are important for all health, no matter what your problem is. And so we looked at quality of life, we looked at satisfaction with health, we looked at pain, we looked at sleep, we looked at anxiety, we looked at depression. And then we looked at healthcare utilization because even aside from symptom management, we were really interested to know what kind of impact this was having on your healthcare utilization. How often were you going to see your doctor? How often were you going to the emergency room, getting hospitalized? Was cannabis replacing other prescription medications, or was it being added to other prescription medications? So there are a number of different things they're all fascinating, they're all interesting, and people talk about them, but they don't have much data to put behind them.
Right. Yeah, I love that, being able to look at, did you come to this as a last resort? This therapy as a last resort? Did you use it earlier on in your treatment course? The hospital utilization and pharmaceutical data, if they are reducing their pharmaceutical usage. We also looked at over-the-counter medications. To me, it's like economic indicator data. If we can show that people who are using cannabinoids are spending less healthcare dollars, I think that's really interesting, and we could move forward with pointing where clinical trials may need to go, and hopefully getting insurance to cover these types of products, even these hemp-based products that are dietary supplements. I feel like even with my own son in our early days, we used a lot of different alternative treatments that insurance would cover. And so I think that I'll be able to go home after that. I'm like, if we could just get to the point, right, where we can use it as it is and potentially get these things covered by insurance companies and Medicaid, Medicare, I think it will save them a lot of money. And so I really think that data is sort of interesting.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not just the cost benefit evaluation and the financials. It's information on how these products are being used, right? And you brought up is it a first line therapy, a second line therapy, or a last resort? Are people chucking other meds and just switching to this, or are they adding it on to multiple therapeutics? And our data shed light on that. It actually showed that in most cases, this was a last resort try for people that had tried multiple other treatments that were unsuccessful.
Right.
And it also showed that it wasn't that people were necessarily dropping the other medications or other treatments.
Right.
They were adding this, and that by adding it, they got another bump in their health.
Yes.
And so that's
and they might have had, what was the percent reduction? Do we have that information of pharmaceutical usage? I know it was not considered statistically significant, but it was a decent percent reduction.
Yeah, so it wasn't, and again, I think we have to be careful in reduction versus not. So what we found is that the people using cannabis used significantly fewer prescription medications than the control comparison group.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean we can't say that they reduced them,
right?
But by using cannabis in addition to these other medications, there were 14% fewer prescription medications used in the cannabis group versus the control group.
Right. So correlation versus causation. What you're saying is we can't, with this data set, say this caused this. But we can observe that they were using 14% less.
Yeah, and what we can do also is look again longitudinally. So in the same individual, when you add medical cannabis to an existing regimen, does anxiety or depression go up or down or stay the same? Do hospitalizations go up or down or stay the same? And so there were a number of circumstances within this cohort of individuals where our comparison of different clusters of people, cannabis users and controls, we saw differences there. And there again, we can't establish causality. This is just cross-sectional group differences. But then our folks that were not using, if they later initiated use, then we could look at their changes in their reports over time. And by and large, on an aggregate level, we found that those guys changed on all of the same indices into the same magnitude of difference that we saw between our two different groups.
Okay, so what does that mean? Explain that
for an example of this, right? So we looked at quality of life. And so on our quality of life measure, which is a standard measure that comes from the World Health Organization, the people who were using cannabis on the first survey completion with us had better quality of life than the people who were not. Now, in that group of people who were not using it, among the group that later started to use it, they showed an increase from before to after using cannabis that went up in terms of quality of life rating, and that difference from their baseline to later was the same difference that we saw between the users and non-users the first time we asked.
So that's magic, right? That makes you go, okay, this is a thing. Okay. So on the top left-hand side, it says quality of life, and you can see the green bar is longer than the gray bar. And so what that is showing is that people who were using cannabinoids were having a better quality of life. Another piece of information here is health satisfaction, and you can see like the score, and maybe on this one you can talk about how these validated measures have scores. So health satisfaction in cannabinoid users was 2.4, and health satisfaction in non-cannabinoid users was 2.1. And so you look at that and you go, well, 0.3, not that big of a deal, but it is actually statistically significant. So tell us a little bit about the scores, just very basic level so people can understand the scoring.
Yeah, so I mean, the scores on anything, you have a range of scores that you can have, and then you have statistical significance, and then you have clinical significance. And so statistical significance is factors in the variance within each group and how meaningful on a number, just a pure numbers basis, reporting on one thing is for one group of people versus another, or the same people at one time versus another. And we have, the more people you have in a data collection, the more power you have to detect these differences. So we had a pretty large number of people in this study. We had over 800 cannabis users and just shy of 500 controls. They were the same, generally speaking, in terms of demographics. The cannabis user group was a little bit older than the control group. But when you look across all of these measures, and the number 2.1 versus 2.4 itself is not very meaningful there. But when you get into the statistics, you see a statistically significant increase or higher rating of quality of life and health satisfaction in the cannabis using group versus the non-group. That's a challenging example because there's no clinical cutoff or threshold for that group. But if we look at our anxiety and our depression scores, this is something where you can say something a little bit more about clinical meaningfulness.
Okay.
So whereas satisfaction with health and quality of life is very subjective, ratings on a validated measure of depression or anxiety is a little more objective, even though it's a self-reported questionnaire, where this tool has been developed and compared with diagnostic clinical interviews where they've been able to establish cutoffs, threshold scores on this assessment. They say 8 or above is an area of clinical concern and a high likelihood for a diagnosis of anxiety or depression. And so when we look at our outcomes here, we can see that in individuals here, whether they're cannabis users or not, you can see people who at the beginning were non-users and were above the threshold for a likely diagnosis of anxiety or depression. Then they begin using medical cannabis, and now they're below that threshold as a large group. And so that's showing not only a statistically significant difference of about 1 point on a 10-point scale or something like that, but it's also demonstrating that this is bringing people from above to below an important clinical threshold.
Okay. Yeah, that's really helpful. And then, so we see average pain severity, that people are having less pain or less severe pain when they're using cannabis versus not. And then there's a couple of measures in regards to sleep as well for adults and children. And so, looking at the slide, the infographic here, you're able to see that almost across the board, there is a statistical significance or what you would refer to as a clinical significance in cannabinoid users versus non-users. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, and so what we found in this study, generally speaking, is that cannabis users were a little bit better off on most of our outcome assessments. And the ones where we didn't see it were areas where it wouldn't make sense to see it. So within our quality of life assessments, there are multiple domains. There's physical health, psychological health, social health, and environmental health. And so we found that the cannabis...
Environmental health, right? That didn't show up. And well, yeah, you're not going to start using cannabis and move to the country and...
Exactly.
So, right. It's like, no,
So we found effects on physical, social, and psychological health, but no effect on their environmental health because their environment didn't change. All they did was start using cannabis. So that again, that kind of thing shows the sensitivity of what we're doing, and that also gives us more confidence that where we do see the differences that do make sense when people self-report and with the anecdote around medical cannabis use, that it makes sense. And it's important to note too that in this initial paper, the size of the differences between the groups are not always really large and clinically significant because within this cohort, we have people with a huge variety of health problems. And so, the difference in pain scores is statistically significant, but clinically it's kind of on the small side, but that's because we have a lot of people in there that don't have pain, and for which pain is not expected to happen with medical cannabis use. If you are suffering from autism or ADHD, pain is normally not a symptom of those health conditions.
Yeah.
So it's, when we look at this from a product agnostic and a health condition agnostic viewpoint, we lump everybody together.
Right.
It almost, it underestimates the likely magnitude for people that have these really specific symptoms. And when we pulled out some of those specific health conditions where we say, all right, this is a group of people where we would really expect to see, anxiety be a major issue. And when we look at them versus everyone together, we actually see a bigger magnitude of that.
Okay.
So that's our next step with all of this, right? Is that, we presented the big picture thing, and now we're going to start slicing and dicing the data and looking and drilling down on individuals, more condition-specific things, some product-specific things.
Awesome. Good. So now we've spoken about this and we've talked about it for a long time. It's been published. Make sure you guys hit the website and see the publication. Congratulations on that, Brian, and thank you to the team and to all of the participants who hung in there and continued to enter their data. And now we have a second version of this registry that it's like the shiny new car. I mean, this thing it's sleek. We've got shorter measures. There's a lot of things that carry over that you don't have to enter every time, like your pharmaceutical uses pops it up and says, hey, still using these? Yes or no. And so it's just I'm so excited about this second version of the registry that is just, we've learned a lot from the first one. So what's our best pitch for version 2.0 to folks for them to get in there and start entering their data?
Yeah, our pitch right now is we traded in a Ford for a Ferrari. And, not the Ford GT. This is, nothing against Fords in general, but I mean, we really upgraded with this. And, as much as Heather likes to brag about my accomplishments in science, it was all really laboratory-based, really controlled study-based, where this was my first So there was a huge learning curve for us all the way around with this. And to Heather's credit in the realm of caring team, they gave us feedback from every individual who did version 1. We went in there and we learned from everything that was written, and we fine-tuned this thing. We've got it much, much shorter. Heather mentioned that there's a lot of automation now. We're carrying forward a lot of information that was a real struggle for people to re-enter every single time, and typing in all these medications and doses and things like that. We identified banks of questions that they were interesting to us at the outset, but it became clear that they were not terribly important, so that we could streamline this thing. And so we think we've got a cluster of questions now that really get at the crux of what's important and valuable and where we're seeing meaningful And, you know, the whole process now, once you do it for the first time, you get an email on the exact date that you're supposed to do a follow-up, and the follow-up should only take 20 minutes or so. We're not asking you to separately go in and remember stuff to type in. There's almost no free text. Everything is push a button here, push a button there. So, and the initial feedback on this, version 2 is live, folks. So if you haven't already jumped in on this, please do so. It's an amazing thing. It's a really easy process. And,
it's a great way to pay it forward. You know, that's how I think about this as, you know, a family who's continuing to use cannabinoid products, that I really don't want anyone that comes behind us to have to start at square one. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I had to start at square one 8 years ago, even though people had been using medical cannabis for a very long time in California and other places. I had to start at the beginning, and people should not have to do that. And so think of this as a contribution to pay it forward. Whether you're using cannabis or not, you can get in there and start entering your data. You do a baseline, and then every 3 months. It's really, really simple. There's some incentives for you to do that. Make sure you hit the website, and it will super easy to register. So, Brian, thanks for your time today. We'll do a little bit deeper dive another time, and we'll make sure you guys all know about that. We can get into the results a little bit more and where we're going. But thank you so much. I am so proud of this project and our relationship with Johns Hopkins and you in particular. So thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Always my pleasure, Heather. And you get all the credit for coming up with steering this ship. So I couldn't have done any of this stuff without you and your involvement. Make sure you guys pay attention when you read the paper. Their name's on that thing as well. And
I'm a published author. We had a glass of wine over that one.
And awesome. It's the tip of the iceberg, everybody. I mean, really, the value and the depth of the data that we got with this study so far is incredible. But there's still tremendous promise to make it bigger and better and more valuable going forward. So,
well, thank you. Thanks, Dr. Vandrey. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
So I cannot tell you how excited I am that we were finally able to get that publication. After that first one comes, you know, the monstrous, all of the data in the entire registry, then things can really start rolling. And so we're going to have more publications. We hope to have another one this year. We're going to continue into next year with continuing to publish this data. We do have it available on our website, so you can see the article there and take a look at that for yourself. Now, I want to bring up our team, our Realm of Caring team, so that we can have an open dialogue and you guys can ask your questions and we can answer them the best that we can. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continued support over the years. We need it now more than ever. COVID has not been very good to the Realm of Caring. We are definitely still here. We are still serving the mission. Our team is smaller. We are focusing. We're getting a laser-like focus to serve this community. And I just want to thank you. For those of you who've been with us this entire time, for those of you who are new, who just came to this birthday party for the first time and are learning about Realm of Caring, thank you very much. What we do is absolutely impossible without your support. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Looks like we're waiting for a few people to turn their microphones on or their video on. Steve, Joel, go ahead and join us. Thank you very much. Jess is the puppeteer behind the screen. I'm not sure if people can see my big face. Doesn't look like it. Maybe Sasha can help with that too. I don't know if we need to put it on speaker view or what needs to happen. While that's going on, while Jessica is making the person who's speaking big down in the middle of the screen, let's all take a stretch. So Joel and Steve, let's stay present and let's all stretch. Let's get up and take a stretch. We've been watching we've been learning about realm caring. That was awesome with Dr. Ryan Vandrey. And we're just stretching it out. We're stretching it out. All right. You guys, thanks for joining us. If you're in Colorado and close to the office, we're social distancing right now. So we're all in our own little offices. And then we brought our—
I can't. It won't. I've just chatted out.
Steve, Steve, you need to be on mute and turn on your camera.
Sorry, the camera won't turn on. The host has to turn on my camera.
Okay, so Jessica, Steve needs his camera on. Thanks, guys, and thanks for your patience with us. And now it looks like the person who's, it's not the person who's speaking, whose picture is taking up the screen. So Jessica, maybe you and—
It looks good. Looks good on here, Heather.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Everybody's good to go. Yay!
And now we can see everyone and we've stretched, yay! And we got some questions from you guys live as well. So we'll be answering those. Some of you submitted questions ahead of time. And I just wanted to let you know that you can come by the office today, just like you can every year for our birthday and get goodies. So we have amazing gift bags that the team put together, and there's some product in there as well. And what are they, Joel? Valued at something like $300 at least, right? You have to take it off mute.
Around there, yeah, they've got some supported brand products in there.
Okay.
Should be enjoyable or useful to anyone.
Yeah, I think we have at least $275 worth of product. And then we've got some extra product too on the side. So I know we just got a little sprinkle. Just come on by. All right, let's get some questions answered. One of the questions that we had submitted prior was about our educational opportunities. And so Sasha, who does our education, I would love for her to tell us more about what are we doing right now for education in light of COVID world.
Sure. So yes, thank you, Heather. We had to switch things up a little bit in our COVID world. So right now we are reaching out to our community through many different platforms to educate in a variety of topics. So first of all, in your client education series, in your client portals, you will see updated videos, such as introducing you to the ECS and getting started with cannabinoid therapy. And these are going to evolve to include more intermediate and advanced topics over time. So look for those. Our plan is to be adding one on a monthly basis. So look out for those on your client account. Next, in our education section of our blog on our website, you will find educational information across many different topics. For example, we have articles on well-being, addressing common questions, and just gaining more knowledge about the plant or different products. So we're also bringing you education right here on Facebook Live in our interview show, Care Team Chronicles. So that's weekly on Mondays at 11 Mountain Time. Past episodes have included how to talk to your doctor, CBD for anxiety. I know in some of the Facebook comments, some people have been asking about anxiety, so we have videos on that there. So if you missed any of those episodes, they are uploaded to our YouTube, and we can put a link in our comments so that way you guys can get straight to it. And then lastly, we also have education webinars available to our medical professional community. So if you want more information on having us provide a presentation for you, please contact us at our email info@realmofcaring.org and we can set that up for you. You're still on mute, Heather.
Liz is on, and Maddie says, "Hi, Sasha."
Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Maddie. That's
Hi, Liz. Hi, Corey.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that we're the biggest small family to ever exist. We like over 60,000 families, and I feel like I know every single one of you guys individually. So it's so great. So Sasha, thank you so much. Sasha is also a care specialist, and she is managing all of our education. And real shortly here, you will have been here 1 year. So if you guys haven't met Sasha yet, just give us a call because she might pick up the phone. And now we have another question coming in. This one is in regards to research. So we'll let Joel take this one. The question is, what research are we enrolling in currently? So what are we enrolling in right now, Joel?
Thank you for asking, somebody. So we used to be enrolling in several studies, but right now we have narrowed it down to one main study that we're really excited about. It's the largest observational cannabis research study in the entire country. And we have a few thousand people in there already. It's called the ORR. And it's still enrolling. We plan to enroll indefinitely. We want it to be the largest in the whole world, not just the country. So the way it works is it's all online and survey-based. You can do it from the comfort of your own couch or bathtub, wherever you take surveys. We are doing this in partnership with Johns Hopkins University. So extremely legitimate medical professionals. We're so excited to have them on board. As you probably saw from Heather's interview, we already got a published paper from this study. Yeah, that's right, party on. And there will be many more papers to come from this. We hope to have diagnosis-specific papers, epilepsy, anxiety, pain, etc., and whatever else we're able to do. So we're just really excited this enabled us to be finally published in a peer-reviewed journal, contributing to academia. You know, the world needs answers, and we're here to give them to you.
Thank you, Joel, so much.
Yeah. To enroll in that study, you can go to realmofcaring.org/ORR. And it's really simple to join. It's free. There are some product companies who are participating and distributing coupon codes at the end of the survey. So there's incentive to keep coming back. We invite you back every 3 months for as long as you're willing to give us data. It's really going to a great cause. This is one of the most important studies going on in cannabis right now.
Thanks, Joel. So if you guys have, I saw someone on the live saying this is their first birthday that they've joined us. But Joel, you're able to say you've joined us for every single birthday, huh? I mean, pretty much. Like, how long have you been with us now?
On payroll, 6.5 years.
How many?
6.5.
6.5. So yeah, on payroll. I love that. You know, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that was poured into this organization before anyone received a paycheck. So thank you for that. Joel is actually our most senior staff person. And so every time I get an opportunity to thank him, I want to do that. Thank you for your service, Joel, for having my back all of these years, for serving our community so lovingly with all of your heart and all of your soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for keeping me around for so long.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without you. All right, so one of the questions on the live came from Robert. And we will just let you guys, anyone who would want to field this, just kind of raise your hand or take your Zoom off of mute, and we'll know that you're gonna take it. So this question is: have you heard of treatment for those who are allergic to marijuana and hemp. So he's asking about a treatment. Now, I will say that we've heard of people who are allergic to the components or the constituents in cannabis or hemp. Very, very rare. But is there a treatment? Does anyone have a comment on that? Yeah, I don't think so either. Steve's kind of shaking his head. I don't know that there's a treatment for that. But I do think to that point, it's a very good idea if you've not used these products previously, that you start with a really small amount and wait and see what happens. So I wouldn't take too much to begin with, just in case you are one of those very, very rare people that have an allergic reaction. So thanks, Robert, for joining us. That was a really great question. If we find out any more information, we'll come put it in the comments here on the live, because the live's going to live on forever. It's the internet, you know, you can't get away with anything and have it disappear. So it'll be here, and if we come up with some extra information, we'll add it there. We had a question submitted ahead of time, and from the industry, the cannabis industry. And so this gentleman wants to know, how can the hemp or cannabis industry get involved with your good work? And so Steve is a care specialist, but also in charge of taking care of our community. And so I'd love for Steve to be able to field this one.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. So first of all, we're just always really happy to receive referrals and also donations. So that's kind of the number one thing. That's how our bread and butter. We would love to work with more product companies, more retailers, and medical professionals. And so specifically to the product companies, or those of you who might know someone in a product company, we have opportunities for them to have us vet their products, and then we're able to give direct information to your customers on the use of those products and help them have more success. To distributors and retailers, please let your customers know that they can get support from the realm of caring. We really, really need the referrals. We will always provide general education to callers, even if we have not vetted the products, but specific information for those that we've had a chance to endorse and for quality. And so, and then also for medical professionals, we really would hope you could register as a practitioner on our site. And that way you can refer your patient to us for guidance. And also we can have a good opportunity to learn from you also. And then finally, the campaign that's going on here is Raise the Realm. It's our annual fundraising campaign. And so we would love for anybody to give. There's no restrictions on that. And it's happening right now, and we'll give you more information on that after the presentation.
Awesome. Yes, we are. This is going to launch our Raise the Realm campaign as well. We normally have that around the same time COVID came. So we have been waiting, and we can't wait anymore. So we really need to raise the realm. And so we'll be sure to give you more details on that. And so, yes, there's lots of ways for the industry to get involved. Thank you, Steve, for that information. And you have been around. So I was able to pull Steve out of retirement a couple of years ago, and now he just won't leave. And why is that, Steve?
Oh,
this is the good stuff, right?
Well, you know, when we were in the office more before COVID, it was the snacks, but now it's just being able to look at you guys on screens all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know, Steve always pops in and tells me after a call, this is going to make me tear up. Like this is what life is all about, you know, and that's why you've stuck around, is because we get to really, truly help people. And there's a lot of people who will, you know, go their entire life and not really be able to have that impact. And so, yeah.
Now you know why I didn't say that, because I didn't want to cry. But it's an incredible opportunity, and I can't think of anything else that means more. And the ability to work people when they're really having a hard time and help them see some light is great. And so thank you for that.
Yeah. And those are the ones you love, like the really tough ones. And I really appreciate that about you. So thank you, Steve. Now we've got, let's see here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of our numbers. So every year we update you on our outreach and our impact and how we're doing and all of that. So I wanted to update you on a few numbers that hopefully you'll find impressive. So we now have 64,259 families or individuals who have registered with us at Realm of Caring. That's incredible. So we actually have over 100,000 who have been registrants, and then of that, 65,000 have set up accounts with us, which means we know a lot about you, and that you're really needing this for either yourself or your loved one. So really proud to hit that 65,000 mark, right close there. Probably within the next couple of months we'll be there. And if you've been a friend of the Realm of Carings for a really long time, you just send your people to us. We will take very, very good care of them. You just give them the phone number. We'll make sure all this is in the comments. Give them the phone number, give them our email, give them the website, and they can reach out. They can live chat with us. They can email, they can call. We've got a great ticketing system where people do not slip through the cracks. So if they reach out, we will absolutely get to them. And so we'd love to grow that number. And then they are going to get data-centric information. They're going to get accurate information about this cannabinoid therapy. So thanks for that. And the money that we've given away. Now this really blows me away. It used to be that we would write checks. So like, write a check and pop it in the mail, and I would skip to the mailbox because like giving money away is like my favorite thing to do in the whole world. And so that's how it used to be. And then it turned into a system where we would just direct deposit cash. We're still doing that. And then we press the button. And that was pretty exciting. That was almost exciting as skipping to the mailbox. And we've given close to $500,000 back to families in cash, which is so cool. So $500,000. Isn't that incredible? I think you guys should give us some hearts or some thumbs up, something for them. That's incredible. And all of that is possible because of you guys. So we're not out here digging up cash in the back of the office. Like that happened because you all have contributed to the Realm of Caring. And so you are truly, truly the hero here. We just assess need and get it out. So thank you for that. And over $2 million in products. That's so great. Thank you to all of the product companies who support us by giving us coupon codes. Charlotte's Web was one of the largest giveaways that we did for COVID. And also after Charlie had passed away. So thank you, Charlotte's Web, for your continued support of our organization and all of our sponsors. We'll be sure to give a mention to those before the end, and we will make sure that they're in the comments and you can go check out their websites as well. So thank you for that. So at least $2.5 million bucks. And probably much more than that. We've had lots of product companies give us coupon codes, so thank you for that. We have had 332,627 inquiries over the years since we've started the call center. That's incredible. We spend an average of almost 30 minutes on the phone when we receive phone calls. So that is, we like to talk. So make sure you give us a call. And in total, over 2 million minutes talking on the phone. So that's so cool. Thank you for that. And there was a question about COVID and if we're still open and what sort of support that we're offering now that we've got COVID. Lisa, maybe you can, not that we've got COVID, but that there's a pandemic happening. I'm not speaking that into existence. We do not have it. Lisa, why don't you let us know what we're doing right now in light of the current circumstances?
Sure, I'm happy to. Thank you. Well, we are open. In fact, each one of us are in the office presently. Just like the rest of the world, we have been affected. We have been working mostly from home with exceptions. We do come to the office from time to time. Some of us work here still full time. And we do plan to get a smaller office that will meet the needs of our care team much better. But we will be at this location till the end of the year. And we do have a new PO box. It's on our website. So check it out in case you need to mail us a check or anything. And what else have we done? We're still doing business as usual. We're helping our clients more than ever. Luckily, most of our interactions have been through the phone, like Heather said, through email, chats. So we're available more than ever to our clients, especially now as we're seeing rising cases in anxiety and depression. So we're here for you. Please reach out.
Yeah, so business as usual, really. We're just doing it from remote locations. Usually someone is here at the office, but we're not having, sit downs, but we can totally still help every way electronically. And again, today we're just gonna get all of our precautions and masks and all of that and make sure we get to see your beautiful faces. Lisa, now you have a sabbatical coming up this year, which means you have been with us for 5 years really soon. Yes? 5. Oh, handful, Lisa, is a whole handful. Thank you so much for your service. And Lisa just does whatever our organization needs. Every single person started on the phones that you can see here and that's visiting with you, including myself. And then things morph over time. And so Lisa's taking care of our internal relations right now, which includes our volunteers, our community volunteer committee, and also our staff as we are working through decentralizing management here. Because as you see this screen, this is the team, you guys. And it's actually really awesome. It is, it makes you have this laser-like focus, as I mentioned earlier. And so I don't know, I love it. I love not having to juggle 28 balls. I like picking up the 3 most important and juggling those, and then we don't drop any. So it's really, really great. And Lisa, thank you so much for your service to our community.
Thank you.
And for being my architect. She's always building me up and checking on me. So thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Heather.
Yes, Andrea, your question in regards to epilepsy, what products work for epilepsy? This is a really common question that, and this is, I'll speak in general terms. If you're dealing with some sort of a health indication, what Realm of Caring is able to do is help you with selecting, first of all, talking to your doctor about this, and making sure that you can, that your doctor's good with you starting this, learning about potential interactions if you're on other pharmaceuticals, because that can be a thing, finding a quality product. So making sure that what you're taking, so quality of life is what our world revolves around. The quality of the product matters just as much. And so then how do you find a quality product? And how do you know how much to take? And how long is it going to take to see results? And what sort of, tweaking needs to happen to find your, sometimes we call it our sweet spot, how that's a process. And that's what the care specialists are here for you. So I want to be clear that we do not give medical advice. We're just giving you some education based off of all those things I mentioned, millions of minutes on the phone, some data with Hopkins. We've been at it for a while, and so we would love to give you that education. So please reach out. And I know that I think we've got some comments there too, so we can let you know how to reach out to us as well. So thank you so much for that. And then we have another a question that came in as well. What about any new big projects that we're going to be up to? And so we have been doing some reorganization this last month and a half or so. And one of the most exciting things that we're up to is a bunch of data. We have a lot of data that comes in lots of different ways, whether it's from one of those studies that Joel was mentioning. At one point, pre-COVID, we were enrolling 4 or 5 studies. And so all of this is a source of data, the phone calls, the emails, our live chats, our registry with Hopkins. And so this is our next really big objective to tackle. And so we've got a team of data scientists. Doesn't that sound fancy? Data architects and data engineers. I don't know about these things, so this is why I'm never the smartest person at the table. There is a problem if I am. So we're bringing the right people and we're putting them at the table, and we're going to be able to really take a look at what's happening with cannabinoid therapy. And I cannot wait for us to have some outcomes and some signals. And this will help Sasha educate. This will help the entire care team to help individuals. This will help the industry to make better products. It's just this really beautiful thing. So that's our biggest project for the rest of this year, for the last quarter of this year, and probably into 2021 just a little bit. So that's our next huge project on the horizon. I'm also reaching out so that we can do a really big concert. So I'm in touch with, and I hope everything's open, but I'm in touch with RoC to see if we can use that space in April for Charlotte's Memorial. And so will you all send so much good energy towards that, that things can be open, and we have not been able to celebrate her life in person. And that will be the 1-year anniversary. And boy, I would be over the moon if we could figure that out. So I'm doing everything in my power, community, to make that happen. And we'll make sure that you can join virtually as well if you're not here. But you might want to just put April just on the calendar, sometime in April, celebrating. That's going to be a really big deal. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I can't cross my fingers unless I'm there. Keep our fingers crossed that we can make that happen. Thank you. All right, so the next question was about creating an account, and is it really free? And what do I get when I create an account? Sasha, that might be a good one for you to answer.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So yes, becoming a client with us and registering for an account is absolutely free. You can do this anytime if you haven't already by clicking the blue register button that's at the top of our website, or you can call one of us, one of our care specialists, and we can do that for you over the phone. We're happy to help. So then once you have a client account with us, you have access to many things. Our administration guidelines and calculators for both adults and pediatrics, our educational videos and blogs, our research library, and the ability to participate in our ORR that Joel had mentioned. Plus, you have that ongoing one-on-one support with our care team. We are available to you. You can schedule appointments with us, or you can just simply call or email us. I believe Jess just put that in the comments. Our number and our email, we're more than happy to guide you through your cannabinoid therapy and to be here as a support system.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Let's see, we've got another question about our organizational structure. So they're wondering, it says, so you work with brands, but aren't you a nonprofit? So, you know, we do work with the industry. But yes, absolutely, we are a nonprofit. And this is a great question because of our DNA, how we originated. Paige is a founder of Realm of Caring. I'm a founder of Realm of Caring, and the Stanley brothers are founders of Realm of Caring. Now you have to keep in mind that this was before FDA and all these regulations and rules. And this was when we would just help the people as quickly as you can. And we knew that we needed to create a structure to do that. And that's why Realm of Caring exists. As soon as we understood the legalities and ramifications, the brothers moved on and did what they do very well, which is build a brand and create products and all those sorts of things. So the brothers definitely were founders of Realm of Caring, and Paige and I have always ran this organization. So it's always been a parent-driven, a consumer-driven organization. It's also why I think we're very trustworthy. We don't have ulterior motives. I was just trying to help Sakai. Paige was just trying to help Charlotte, and the many dozens in the beginning, dozens of women and men, mothers and fathers were just trying to help their kids. And that's how Realm of Caring was born. So we are a nonprofit. We are a public charity. So we are not a private foundation. Nobody owns us. We don't make any money off of the sale of any products. So we don't recommend products because people give us money. It doesn't work like that. How Steve was talking earlier about, you know, quality products that we're able to recommend, that's through a checklist process. That's through them going through a screening. It doesn't have anything to do with, you know, you give us money and now we'll support your product, or we get a percentage of sales or anything like that. It makes a ton of sense for us to work with the industry. And the industry sponsors us. And this is the nonprofit model. We have some fee for service. And we also, so like our research registry, that's a service agreement that we would put in place where we can give that data back to the company on their product. And so that's just a great model. And then, you know, the industry in general is just really thankful that we're here. They're thankful that there's someone to answer that phone. They're grateful that, you know, that their customers don't have to be alone, and so they contribute to us. And so we're very incredibly thankful for that. I get so gushy. I try to definitely live a life of gratitude, but then when you just start thinking about all the support that we have received over these last really 7 years as a nonprofit, as a 501c3, it absolutely blows my mind. So, yep, we're a nonprofit. We're an independent nonprofit. We're nobody's private foundation. And that's a really good question because it continues to be, you know, I think an area of confusion. So thanks for that one. And then let's see, we've got, see if there's any more information on how they can volunteer for Realm of Caring. Do you guys know where that is on our website? Is anyone able to find that? What I will absolutely do is make sure that that's posted in the comments here. Thank you for that, Linda, for that question. We need volunteers, and there's definitely ways to engage with Realm of Caring. On our website, and I don't know the link because we had a website remodel, there's a way for you to register your interest. And so we'll be sure to put that in.
So Heather, I can mention that real briefly.
Thank you, Steve.
You simply on the website, under the menu, you go to community, and then you go to volunteer, and easy as pie, a application to volunteer pops up. Submit it to us, and we'll do our best to get back to you quickly. We really appreciate volunteers, and we need them. That's how I started.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get rid of me.
That is how you started. And that's how we started the organization, you know, the 30 of us on a grasshopper phone number, as I expressed in the beginning. So yes. Yep, and thank you very much. Jess is going to be linking that below. Wonderful. Well, there's a lot of comments here, so if I'm missing some of the questions, I am sorry, but we'll go through these and make sure that all of your questions get answered with the proper links and all of that. And this will live on, so we can come back and check this. And you know, we haven't had a fundraiser in a while. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that. We are launching our Raise the Realm campaign. It's live right now. And so we wanted to mention this to you all. And we feel like we can make a big impact in a very specific way that's really, really simple, that doesn't require a ton from anyone, because we definitely want to recognize everything that's happening in the world right now. You know, I want to say that we are living this with you. We know how it feels, and it's a very complicated time. It's also a time for introspection and rebirth. I think that during these times where we can't be maybe so distracted out and about and doing things, you know, that this is a really good time to look inward. I know that I'm doing that myself. My team is doing that. We're doing that organizationally as well. So it's a really good time for that. And it's a really good time to do just something very small that will have such a huge impact. All of our services are free to our clients. We don't charge anyone anything, and we don't want to. And so Raise the Realm is a, let's call it a friend raising campaign instead of a fundraising campaign, or fun with the big fun raising campaign. And so we're launching this 30-day peer-to-peer giving campaign. It's called Raise the Realm. We always do this every year, usually in the spring. And so we're just moving it a little bit later this year. And so what we're asking you to do is start a fundraiser on Give Lively. And we're going to make sure that we post the link here below. We'll also check your emails, and make sure you check your junk email too, because maybe you need to say it's okay to get the email from us, because I think we end up in a lot of people's junk mail. So make sure that you check the junk mail too, but we'll give you a lot of details in regards to Raise the Realm through that email, and we'll put some links here below too. But what we're asking everyone to do is set up their own peer-to-peer fundraiser and set your goal for $1,200. And we're going to then give you some information every week on how you can update your fundraiser, so we can keep the momentum going. And so, you know, if we even had 3% of our client base, of those 65,000, set up one of those fundraisers, and, you know, got a few friends to try and hit that 1,200 goal, that would really help us sustain us through the end of this year. So please consider doing that. Please help us raise the realm. That is our ask today. And is there any other comments from the team? Would anyone like to share anything else before we give people directions on how to get over here to the office for their goodie bags? No problem at all. No problem at all. Everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. We appreciate you. We care about you and your family and your health. We're here for you. If you're still listening, come on by the office. We will wear our masks. We've got goodie bags for you. It's got some products, t-shirts, all kinds of goodies in there. And cookies. Do you have cookies on your birthday? So thank you guys so much for joining us virtually this year. We love you all. Thank you. Everyone say bye.
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 Say bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.